Huh? We're going to talk about how to store your dirt bikes for the winter, or any kind of motorcycle for that matter. The thing you do, you make sure that it's clean. And by clean, I mean get all the dirt and all the stuff that you have to scrape off and all that, but most importantly, the chain. Get the chain cleaned and put some chain lube on it before you store it. This stuff right here, but you can use whatever chain lube you want. Everybody's got their preferences. So I'm not sponsored. Use whatever you want. The next thing you do, go ahead and close up the fuel petcock. We did this while we were riding, so we already have no fuel in there. Make sure it's on off, and you can run the engine until it stops, or if you want to be easier, turn off the fuel and come over here down to this little screw right here. But make sure you have a little pan to catch all the fuel that's going to come out. I usually just pull this out, put it in a container, and let the carb drain out, so that way there's no carb there, the float's not up. Next, so I have a heated garage, so I really don't have much to worry about other than the shocks and springs, because I have a heater in here that runs all year round, and the normal temperature in my garage is like 75. Of course, when the doors open, the heat goes away, and it takes about 3 or 4 hours to get back to warm again. But if you don't, and you store them out somewhere cold, I'm going to show you what to do. So the next step is, before storing it, make sure once it's done running and it cools off a little bit, you go ahead and drain the oil out and put some fresh oil in. Next thing people like to do, they like to come over here, and if you got a metal fuel tank, you could spray some sort of fogger in there if you like, and that'll help keep your tank from rusting. But I usually keep non-ethanol fuel in there, and I really don't worry about rust. And as far as the other bike, well, this is actually plastic, and it's fuel resistant, and it's nothing's gonna happen from fuel sitting in it. Alright, so we got it cleaned, we changed the oil. Spray fogger in there if you really want to, but again, I use non-ethanol fuel, so none of that stuff really applies to me. The next thing you're going to do is, if you have any kind of electric start, like, you know what electric start is. You're going to go ahead and take the battery out and charge it. If you don't, these two are both kickstart, so even if the battery dies, you just kickstart it, it'll charge the battery back up. No big deal. Now, before we go any further, this only applies to air-cooled engines. If you got a water-cooled engine, now's the time to go ahead and top up on coolant and make sure that it's good to go. So up next, you could either put it on a kickstand and take the wheels off, or if you don't want to go out and pick up a kickstand, they got these at Walmart for like $3, and they're food-grade containers. Put it down like so. And there you have it. Now, you can just simply move it over to where you're going to store it. And that is it. The next thing I like to do, I like to come in here, and again, once it's cooled down, come in here. You don't really have to do this. This is just a precaution that I take. But I come in here and I take off the spark plug. And I'll show you why. And that's why. So what I like to do is I like to clean it up a little bit. Just spray a little bit of gasoline on it, wipe it off, and we'll put it back in. Just go ahead and spray it with a little bit of brake parts cleaner. And I give it a little bit of a wire brush. Nothing too crazy. And we just wipe it dry. There we go. It's looking much better now.
Good.
And when you're done, just go ahead and put it right back in. I will get this back in here. And just give it a little tug. Should be good. and that is it. Alright guys, so I'm going to give it a quick rundown of all the things that we went over today. Number 1, wash it. Make sure the bike is nice and clean. Number 2, clean and lube the chain. Number 3, drain the carburetor or shut off the fuel petcock and run it until it dies. That's the same thing as draining it. Number 4, change the oil and or coolant if you have coolant. Number 5, clean the spark plug. Next year when you want to start it off, you don't want any spark plug fouling or anything going on. You want a clean, fresh spark ready to go. And number 6, set it on a stand and put it away.